I have no money, and I'm gonna tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about sex.
You know, my thing about when you date a mogul is like he can hire a plane right now, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying, pay people off at the front desk. I'm already paranoid.
But y'all have bad blood for a while.
Real bad.
Real bad blood.
The worst blood.
The worst blood.
So, the burning question on everyone's lips these days is, where in the world is Wendy Williams? Well, guess what? Lifetime is about to spill all the tea in an upcoming documentary that's set to answer just that. They dropped a sneak peek trailer on a casual Thursday, February 1st, and it looks like Wendy, at 59, is gearing up for a comeback after being MIA for a whole year. In this exclusive preview of the Lifetime documentary titled Where is Wendy Williams?, the media queen opens up about the hurdles she's faced since her career took an unexpected detour. But here's the kicker, fans couldn't help but raise an eyebrow when Wendy dropped the bombshell that she's got $0 in the bank. Yep, you heard it right. She straight up says, I have no money. And let me tell you something, if it happens to me, it can happen to you. Now picture this, a successful TV host, a household name. How on earth does someone like Wendy Williams find themselves singing the no money blues? Unless you've been living under a rock, you know Wendy was the real deal. So what gives? But wait, there's more. Rumor has it that Wendy might be on some industry blacklist. Whispers suggest that some doors might have been shut on her. And here's where it gets wild. Word on the street is that Diddy, yep, Mr. Love himself, might be pulling some strings in this drama. Now, I know you're probably thinking, hold up, did I miss a plot twist somewhere? Trust me, you didn't. The grapevine is buzzing with speculations about Diddy having a hand in Wendy's current situation. How? Why? Well, buckle up because we're here to spill all the juicy details. So, Wendy's journey has been a roller coaster of success and setbacks. Let's rewind to October 2017 when she had that dramatic fainting moment on her show, all because of dehydration. From then on, her personal life became headline news for a solid 2 years, thanks to a mix of health issues and her relationship saga with Hunter. In February 2018, Wendy dropped the bombshell she's got Graves' disease causing hyperthyroidism. And guess what? This wasn't a recent diagnosis. She's been battling these conditions for nearly 2 decades. The pressure behind her eyes sometimes gives them a distinct look, and she rocks wigs in public because her thyroid situation has thinned out her natural hair. But wait, there's more. Wendy accidentally fractured her shoulder in December 2018. Like, can this woman catch a break? In March 2019, she revealed she'd been living in a sober house for a hot minute and dealing with vertigo. And just when you thought that was enough, later that year, she shared that she got hit with lymphedema, a condition causing swelling in her ankles. All these health challenges forced Wendy to take several breaks from hosting her show. We're talking 3 weeks in 2018 and a whopping 6 weeks in 2019. And if you thought her personal life was on cruise control, think again. In April 2019, she dropped the D-bomb divorce. Irreconcilable differences led her to call it quits with Hunter after he fathered a baby with a mistress. Although the divorce papers were stamped in January 2020, Wendy's legal surname remains Hunter. Also, in early 2022, Wells Fargo, Wendy's bank, went all freeze mode on her accounts. Yeah, denied her access to her funds, assets, and even her financial statements. The reason? The bank claimed Wendy was under some undue influence and fell victim to financial exploitation. Wells Fargo took things to the next level, requesting a New York Supreme Court hearing to figure out if Wendy's health conditions rendered her incapacitated and in need of a guardianship. But wait, Wendy's attorney, LaShawn Thomas, wasn't having it. He fired back, saying Wendy's got a squad of holistic health professionals dealing with her Graves' disease and thyroid issues. He straight up disagreed with the whole financial guardian idea. According to Wendy's legal rep, the bank dropped this bombshell without showing them the receipts. No significant evidence, just a surprise move. They even waited until Wendy filed an emergency petition before waving the guardianship flag. Fast forward to March 23rd, 2022. Wendy takes to her Instagram with a bombshell allegation. She claims her ex-manager, Bernie Young, dropped a cool $10,000 on her credit card without her green light. And what was it for? To hire Carolyn Wolfe in a pursuit of a guardianship. But Bernie? He's got nothing to say, at least not to the Sun. Also, Kevin Hunter, her son, stepped up to be her voice in this whirlwind. He's not having it with Wendy's team, believing they're milking her wealth and taking advantage of her struggles with alcoholism. In an interview with the U.S. Sun, the 22-year-old spills the tea, accusing the team of encouraging Wendy to work despite her health woes and allegedly exacerbating her alcohol issues. Kudos to Kevin Jr. for being a stand-up guy and standing against the tide. He's basically saying, hey, my mom's not in her right mind, and I see through all this craziness. Heads are gonna roll when she wakes up to it. But of course, Wendy's team isn't having it easy. Her manager chimes in, not looking to go head-to-head with Kevin, but throwing some shade nonetheless. The manager questions why Kevin is airing the family's laundry in public, especially if Wendy's health is in question. It's a classic case of he said, she said, with emotions running high.
Have a debate with Kevin. I'm not here to be combative about, whatever allegations he has. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm just trying to say that, and let's actually utilize some common sense. Someone was near death, someone like your mother. Why would you go to an online publication to discuss it with them?
Now let's talk about this whole guardianship drama. The team is pushing for it, claiming Wendy can't handle her affairs due to her health issues. Kevin's not buying it, saying Wendy is perfectly capable, and he's got a point. The whole court-appointed guardianship system is raising eyebrows. It's an old-school concept that's become a hot topic of debate, especially in Wendy's case. And now, brace yourself for the Diddy bomb. Whispers in the air suggest that the hip-hop mogul might be pulling some strings behind the scenes. How does he fit into this melodrama? The thing is that Wendy has been warning us about Diddy for decades, and we're going to tell you exactly what she knows and what she's been trying to tell us. Now, rewind to the glorious 90s when Wendy and Diddy were practically intertwined in the entertainment scene. Diddy launches Bad Boy Records in '93, and guess who's rocking the New York radio waves in '94? None other than Wendy herself. It's like a match made in celebrity heaven, right? Well, sort of. Their relationship was more like frenemies, especially in '98 when Wendy decided to stir the pot. She did what Wendy does best, spread some rumors. This time, it was about Diddy's sex preference, suggesting he might be gay. Now, we've heard this rumor float around before, but Wendy gave it a spotlight, and oh boy, did it cause a stir. Once the news reached Diddy's ears, he didn't take it lightly. Nope, he pulled some major strings and got Wendy booted from her radio gig. But Wendy wasn't done. She claims to have received a snapshot of a man allegedly pulling Diddy's shorts down during a vacation in Cancun. Now that's some next-level celebrity drama. Cue to Gene Deal spilling the beans in an interview. So here's the lowdown. The interviewer throws shade, mentioning Kirk Burrows spilled some tea about Wendy getting the boot from Hot 97 over a puffy picture. Naturally, they want Gene's side of the story and the juicy details of that infamous snapshot. Gene Deal dives in, setting the scene in Cancun. Apparently, some dude thought it would be a good idea to mess around with Puff Daddy. He sneaks up, grabs Puffy's trunks, yanks them down, and voila. A compromising position captured by some girls with cameras. What happens next? They send that picture straight to Wendy Williams. Now, Wendy, being Wendy, sees an opportunity. She claims the photo shows Puffy in a compromising, let's say questionable position, hinting at some gay vibes. She threatens to spill the tea, telling people about the email she received. Puffy's not having it though. He throws down the ultimatum. Either Hot 97 ditches Wendy before he lands back in New York, or no music from him or his industry pals. Cue a station boycott threat. Fast forward to a mini LA escape before returning to the Big Apple. And guess what? Wendy Williams is out of a job. Fired, done. Puffy's influence and the music industry's potential boycott worked like a charm. Wendy's radio reign in Philly comes to an abrupt end.
Dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his trunks and pulled them down. Some girls that was taking pictures. They took that picture and emailed it back to Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams said she had him in a compromising position and like he was gay, something like that. She was gonna put it out. Puff told Hot 97 if they didn't get rid of her before he got back in New York, that they was not gonna get any music from any of his friends. Everybody was gonna boycott their station. We was out in LA for about 3 days before we landed back in New York. Wendy Williams was in the radio station in Philly. She was fired.
Now, let's time travel to 2013 when Wendy briefly opens up about this mess. She drops truth bombs, pointing out the homophobia in hip-hop. Talking about someone possibly being gay was a bigger deal back then, she says. And who was at the center of it all? Our girl Wendy Williams, who practically faced a modern-day witch hunt for daring to spill the hip-hop tea.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about sex.
Honestly, major kudos to Wendy for keeping it real and standing her ground through all the chaos. You've got to admire her unapologetic take on things. Love it or hate it, Wendy won't back down or sugarcoat her opinions. And that's what makes her a force to be reckoned with. Now let's fast forward a bit to when Wendy faced off with Diddy in a verbal showdown. She didn't hold back, acknowledging the effeminate vibes in hip-hop, but she threw a curveball, pointing out that back in the 80s, there were plenty of LGBTQ plus folks in the hip-hop scene, and she dropped a bomb about what's worse: rappers donning skirts or staying in the closet and having a bunch of kids to prove their manhood, denying something they shouldn't have to hide, like their sex preference. Now, we're not naming names, but Diddy, with his 7 children, might be catching some side eye.
That was, what's worse? Hip-hop wearing skirts or hip-hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny.
But oh, the drama doesn't end there. Diddy, feeling some type of way, decided to send a girl group from his label to confront Wendy. Imagine that! A whole girl group dispatched to deal with the talk show queen. Wendy spilled the tea, recalling a time when she stepped off the air, and these girls, aptly named Total B's, were waiting downstairs. The entire radio station was on high alert, eagerly anticipating some kind of showdown. Wendy's then-boyfriend played superhero, preventing things from getting uglier. Like, picture this. Wendy's just wrapped up her radio show for the day, and lo and behold, Total, aptly labeled the Total B by Wendy, are waiting for her downstairs. The entire radio station crew is upstairs, peering down, probably with popcorn in hand, waiting for some drama to unfold. Now Wendy, not yet sporting a wedding ring, is standing at the door, clueless about the impending chaos. And just when things are about to go down, out of nowhere, her knight in shining armor screeches up in his car. Wendy's at the door thinking, what's happening? But she's not one to throw down because, let's be real, there were 3 of them total gals, and no security in sight, just the little Chinese man who drove the vans. It's about to be a brawl of epic proportions, and Wendy's co-workers are upstairs, ready with their cameras. As Wendy's about to step into the chaos, her mystery man shows up, and she's saved from becoming part of the girl group rumble.
I remember I got off the air one day, and them total bitches were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down.
Now let's hit pause and let that sink in. A girl group sent to rough up a radio host? It sounds like a plot straight out of a movie, but this is the Wendy Williams saga. It's a roller coaster of drama, unexpected heroes, and Diddy flexing some serious power moves. Wendy, despite enduring career tumult at the hands of Diddy, surprisingly declares, "I will never forget, and I do not hate him." It's a touch of forgiveness, showing Wendy's resilience in the face of adversity. She keeps it real, not letting the past define her emotions. Fast forward to 2015, and Wendy's got her spidey senses tingling. On her show, she dropped some truth bombs about Diddy's alleged controlling ways, particularly in light of Cassie filing a lawsuit. Looking back at this clip is like watching a crystal ball into the future, as Wendy seemingly had a grasp on something deeper. She spills the tea, questioning Cassie's ability to dodge Diddy while filming in South Africa. Wendy, ever the provocateur, throws out scenarios of Diddy pulling stunts, like hiring a plane, landing on the hotel roof, and sweet-talking his way into Cassie's room. It's the kind of paranoia that only someone who's seen the behind-the-scenes chaos could truly understand.
Like, he can hire a plane right now, zoom it to South Africa, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying, okay? Pay people off at the front desk, give me the key and let me up in her room.
But here's where it gets interesting. Wendy's not just talking about general rich people behavior, she's singling out Diddy's antics. The underlying message hits hard, especially when we learn that Cassie eventually filed a lawsuit against Diddy. Though they settled, the allegations within the lawsuit paint a dark picture, from drugging to coercion and much more. It's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's tough to fathom that Cassie's warning signs might have been overlooked. Now, in 2017, the stars aligned, and Diddy made a surprise appearance on the Wendy Williams show, aiming to bury the hatchet on their 2-decade-long feud. Wendy, never one to shy away from acknowledging her knack for ticking people off, including Diddy, openly admitted it. They've had beef, she's been fired, but here they are, having a moment of reconciliation on her show.
Okay.
I know I pissed a lot of people off, including you. But this is a full circle moment, everybody. Get into adult conversation.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Now, it's undeniably a significant moment for Wendy, going from being axed by Diddy to having him as a guest. But hold up, let's not brush over the power dynamics at play here. There's still an imbalance, even in their newfound camaraderie. Diddy, with his far-reaching influence, holds a unique position, and despite the surface-level coolness, it doesn't erase the past wrongs. Diddy, in a rare moment of vulnerability, admitted to being nervous about the show. He sang Wendy's praises, probably trying to smooth things over and get on her good side. But let's ponder for a moment, is this a PR move or perhaps a preemptive strike in anticipation of potential exposure down the road?
And I want to just tell you how proud I am of you, because I don't think you get enough credit for being the first one to really cover our culture.
Now here's the kicker. Wendy, never one to shy away from the tough questions, grilled Diddy about Cassie during the interview. She expressed shock at the distance they've covered in their relationship, given the allegations Cassie had raised in the past. Diddy's response painted a picture of love, the way Cassie moves, smiles, and looks at him in the morning. It's a side of Diddy that's rarely seen publicly.
It comes on the way she moves.
Yeah.
Like when I look at her, the way she smiles. The way I see her look at me sometimes when I wake up and she's already awake, you know?
The interview, however, stirred up a storm of opinions, considering the shadows of Cassie's allegations looming in the background. When Diddy and Cassie eventually broke up, Wendy Williams, ever the opinion powerhouse, weighs in on the situation in 2018. Wendy, with her uncanny ability to read between the lines, addressed the split on air, suggesting that Cassie might have wasted her time with a man 17 years her senior. And when Diddy attempted a public reconciliation through social media, Wendy dropped some truth bombs, advising him against using public platforms for private matters. She didn't hold back, stating, "I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession," emphasizing the importance of reaching out privately if he genuinely cared.
I believe he really wants her back. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession, like a possession. And if you really care, then you'd reach out privately, not publicly.
I mean, love her or hate her, she seems to be right about almost everything. Fast forward to 2017 when Wendy spilled the tea on the Sway in the Morning Show, recounting the tumultuous history with Diddy. When the interviewer probed about their bad blood, Wendy didn't mince words, describing it as real bad, the worst kind of blood. The interviewer dropped the bomb about Diddy allegedly wanting to run her out of New York, and Wendy gave a straightforward yes. It's a revelation that adds another layer to the intricate dynamics of their past beef. And here's where the plot thickens. Wendy's relocation to Florida sparked rumors, with whispers suggesting that Diddy played a role in forcing her out of New York.
Real bad blood.
The worst blood.
The worst blood. You almost wanted to run you out of New York at one point, right?
Anyway, regardless of the challenges she faced with Diddy, Wendy managed to pull off some impressive feats. Now let's quickly run through her life and career to see all the cool stuff she accomplished before her health issues kicked in. Wendy Williams, born on July 18, 1964 in Asbury Park, New Jersey, rocked the scene as an American talk show host, producer, and author. She kicked off her journey in radio and later switched gears to daytime television with The Wendy Williams Show in 2008, riding high on the fame from her radio show, The Wendy Williams Experience. Wendy's claim to fame includes her no-nonsense interviews with celebrities and her unfiltered commentary. Back in the day, Wendy hit the books at Northeastern University in Boston, scoring her bachelor's degree in communications in 1986. She initially made waves in radio down in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, before making her way back to the mainland. Come the mid-1990s, she was a well-known radio DJ in New York City, spinning hip-hop tunes and fearlessly grilling music celebs. So, in 1998, things took a turn when Wendy got the boot, and some say it might have been because of her bold and outspoken style. She then had a stint in Philadelphia before making a grand return to the Big Apple, where she struck gold with her nationally famous daily radio gig, The Wendy Williams Experience. Wendy became the talk of the town, dishing out tough, no-holds-barred chatter and spilling the beans on her own life, from battling drug addiction to sharing details about plastic surgery and fertility struggles. Fast forward to 2008, and Wendy made a splash on the TV scene with The Wendy Williams Show, giving it a test run. The show became a hub for celebrity interviews, juicy gossip, advice sessions, and candid talks about Fox and relationships. With her signature confrontational style that won over 12 million radio listeners, Wendy grilled her guests, sometimes sparing no punches. By the end of 2008, she wrapped up her radio gig, but her TV show kept soaring. Fox Television saw the magic and picked up the Wendy Williams Show for a full season in 2009. Plus, BT jumped on board, broadcasting the show at night. By 2010, Wendy Williams had solidified her spot as one of the top female hosts in the daytime TV game. In 2011, Wendy and her husband, Kevin Hunter, stepped into the game show world as executive producers for Love Triangle. And guess what? Wendy took on the hosting duties too. Around the same time, she danced her way into even more hearts by strutting her stuff on Dancing with the Stars. But that's not all. Wendy wasn't just content being in front of the camera. Nope, she hopped on the reality show roller coaster, playing roles as both a judge and a contestant. Plus, she dipped her toes into the film scene and got her hands dirty producing documentaries. Then, in 2013, Wendy made a Broadway debut in the musical Chicago, taking on the role of matron, Mama Morton. Quite the entertainment buffet, right? But hey, with great fame comes some not-so-great moments. Wendy faced criticism for a few remarks on her show, like in 2018 when she got backlash from activist Tarana Burke for comments about an alleged SA victim of R. Kelly. Wendy stood her ground, citing some inside scoop from R. Kelly himself. Fast forward to 2020, and Wendy found herself in hot water again. This time, she faced heat for using her finger to mimic a cleft palate while talking about Joaquin Phoenix. Even though Wendy claimed it was a compliment, critics called it out as mocking. A Change.org petition to boot her off the air got over 70,000 signatures, leading to a Twitter apology and her show chipping in for cleft palate charities. And the hits kept coming. Wendy faced criticism for making homophobic comments in the same year. During a chat about Galentine's Day, she threw shade at gay men wearing skirts and heels, assuming they're all about aspiring to be women. Wendy later said sorry for her remarks. But wait, there's more. When talking about the tragic death of Amy Harwick, Wendy made a joke involving Drew Carey and The Price is Right, landing her in another controversy. So, despite catching some heat from the public, Wendy Williams is rocking the author game with not one, not two, but 3 nonfiction books under her belt. Back in August 2003, she dropped her autobiography, Wendy's Got the Heat, co-written with Karen Hunter, a journalist from the New York Daily News. This book spilled the tea on Wendy's life journey, from childhood struggles to dealing with drug addiction and navigating marriages. And get this, it made its grand entrance at number 9 on the New York Times bestseller list for nonfiction. But Wendy didn't stop there. A month before her second book, The Wendy Williams Experience, hit the shelves in August 2004, her autobiography got a paperback reprint. The second book, a juicy mix of celebrity gossip and interviews, added more flavor to Wendy's authorial repertoire. Then, in May 2013, Wendy decided to drop some wisdom on us with her advice book, Ask Wendy. Besides conquering the nonfiction world, she also flexed her creative muscles with fiction. Wendy penned a trilogy about the life and career of Radio Shock jock Ritz Harper, co-authoring the first 2 novels with Karen Hunter and the third with Zandra Hughes. Media outlets even drew parallels between Ritz Harper and Wendy herself. In 2014, Wendy took a creative detour and ventured into the world of romance novels with Hold Me in Contempt, co-authored with an English professor ghostwriter. And now brace yourselves because there's a 2-part documentary, Where is Wendy Williams?, set to air on Lifetime on February 24th and 25, 2024. The network spilled the tea, claiming Wendy gave the filmmakers unparalleled access to follow her and her family for 2 years after her show got canceled. Rumors are swirling that this documentary is going to be as raw as it gets, with Wendy dishing out some dark truths about the industry. Count us in. We're eagerly anticipating the inside scoop. What about you? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next video.